A fight night between two penguins. One will lose everything and will take everything home. Some kidnappers will be lurking in the shadows, and some will attack openly. Welcome to Animal Territory, and today we're talking about penguins fighting. We will show you how their flaps are like getting hit by a baseball bat. We'll talk about their mating process, and we'll also talk about penguin kidnapping. Do you want to know what all that is? Well then stick to the end. For any animal, maintaining the species is of utmost importance, and penguins are no exception. Even though they can't fly, they're still birds that lay eggs. However, they do it differently from flying birds in terms of incubation duration, egg count, and level of care. When a penguin reaches sexual maturity, breeding can begin. In this way, the size of the body affects how long it takes for a person to mature or start mating. For instance, whereas the little blue penguin matures at 2 to 3 years old, the emperor penguin does not. Yes, it appears that a smaller body matures sexually and reproduces more quickly. Although some male penguins can wait until their 8th year of life, most start mating by their 5th year. The next objective of a penguin is to locate a companion. Finding a partner is not that difficult for birds that live in colonies. And this is what happens with penguins because they're constantly in contact with one another. This does not mean, however, that they mate randomly or at any moment, because they also have specific preferences and criteria. Thus, there's a specific time of year where most species lay eggs and raise their young, usually in the spring and summer. However, other species live in temperate climates that may nest any time of the year. However, one thing needs to be made clear. Penguins typically practice monogamy, which means they stick with the same spouse for the duration of a season or their entire lives. Emperor penguins could spend their entire lives together and get to know one another so well that they can recognize each other by vocalizations. They're the best example of the latter. According to some findings, some females choose to have 1 to 3 sexual partners at a time. Similarly, some males choose to mate with 2 to 3 females at the same time, although these individuals are the exception, and if the male comes back to his nest and finds his partner with somebody else, then the battle begins. Let's look at this clip for example. Upon returning home, the husband discovered his wife with another penguin. He loses it. His plan is to just beat the homewrecker until he runs away. The wings of most birds feature hollow bones and to make them lighter for flight, but because their flippers are made of solid bones, penguins can't fly. They use them to club each other like baseball bats, able to strike 8 times each second. Vital organs are shielded from the crushing impasse by the presence of thick blubber. The love rivals call to the female to let her determine the victor. She decides on the housebreaker. The mother of the children belongs to the husband. He goes home with them now. This conflict is still ongoing. The only method to reach the homewrecker, who is concealed in the burrow, is by a beak attack. Penguins typically gouge underground burrows with their beaks. They're currently gouging out their eyes. The husband intensifies the argument. He's more at risk of losing than his companion, and a hurt penguin is an easy meal for raptors. He makes one more request of the woman, but she is not interested in losers. He's abandoned, having been humiliated and defeated. In a colony of almost 250,000 penguins, he'll lick his wounds and continue on. This is how violent penguins can be. Let's get back to the topic though. When it's mating season, a young sexually mature penguin finds a compatible partner and establishes the nest site first. All species males, who are typically stronger and 1 to 29% larger, are responsible for initiating courtship and luring a female. To do this, they emit loud vocalizations, and other mature males start to do the same. It's a complete penguin orchestra. The sounds of different people's voices obviously differ from one another, yet the voices of the larger males are strangely deeper than those of the smaller ones. The duration of the courtship usually is between 2 to 3 weeks, and the attention-getting behaviors vary greatly between species. There are 3 common behaviors. The first is euphoric. The male makes an active head movement while vocalizing a caution to other males to avoid the area. The second, joy shared by all. To bring attention to another, males and females perform gestures at the same moment. 3. Reverent, characterized by the beaks being close together and the head tilting downward in an effort to minimize the tension between them and the likelihood of violence. Before mating, the nest is typically already available. Penguins are philopatric, which means they always nest in the same location when they return to the colony, while the emperor penguins and king penguins keep their eggs in a brood pouch or special sac placed at the top of their claws. Species like the chinstrap penguin and the Adelie penguin build their nests out of stones. In addition, unlike all other species, they are the only ones that only lay 1 egg. By species, the incubation period varies. While the emperor penguin takes between 62 and 66 days to hatch, the erect-crested penguin requires roughly a month to incubate. In the nest, which is frequently constructed using small rocks and vegetation, males and females alternate incubating. Some species prefer to build their nests in artificially created holes, while others choose to use natural caves or cracks. The emperor penguin instance is exceptional. The female carefully passes the one egg to the male for incubation after it's been laid by the female. During the transfer, if the egg drops or comes into contact with a cold surface, it instantly freezes and perishes. She leaves the egg and heads to the sea to find food. During the more than 2-month incubation period, the male goes without food until the mother returns from the sea and the chick breaks the shell, at which point he goes to the ocean to eat. Thanks to its fat reserves, the male survives the entire period, but it does lose up to 45% of its total body weight. It can take a chick up to 3 days to hatch. They're nearly without feathers when they're born, blind, and helpless, but their parents feed and care for them. After a few weeks, the young's body is covered in supple brown feathers. During this phase, the parents feed the chick straight from their mouths, consisting of food that has been regurgitated. They put it in the brood pouch that was used to incubate the egg in order to keep it warm. In some species, the entire colony of chicks congregates in a nursery, where they're better protected from predators. Adults, however, only tend to feed their chicks. Protecting the chicks is a big responsibility, as the female penguins who weren't able to reproduce or whose baby dies will try to kidnap a baby penguin. You might be thinking that no way is this true. Well, you can look for yourself. Have a look at this clip of some emperor penguins trying to kidnap a baby emperor penguin. With a few well-placed pegs, the mother tries to scare away the kidnappers, but they persist, and others are similar in concept. In an effort to find safety among the masses, the chick headed for the main colony. She suddenly emerges after vanishing in a crush of bodies. But it's only for a brief while, as many people have arrived and are all attempting to adopt the chick. She is feeling so overrun by all of her admirers, one kidnapper makes an attempt to shove the chick into her pouch, but she's far too huge. Then she makes a run for it, gives them a tour of the settlement. They've surrounded her at last. They're all eager to show her their affection. She's in danger of being smothered with love, but the fluff ball is accidentally flipped away and caught by her mother. She'll stay closer to her next time. This kidnapping thing is not specific to emperor penguins. It's with every penguin species. Look at this other clip if you don't believe me. The mother's defense is to remain vigilant and prevent the kidnapping of a chick, but the abductors won't be dissuaded easily. Just in time, her boyfriend emerges from the shower looking fresh, who confronts the potential abductors. The conflict intensifies, although few opponents are more resilient than most. They are capable of receiving and administering punishment. The male returns to his partner after the baby snatchers have had enough. He might require a second shower, but at least his chick is safe. Well, these birds are undoubtedly cute, but when it comes to their partner and chicks, they can be quite a handful. This was all for today. If you found this video interesting, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be bringing more content like this. See you at the next one.